What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be showcasing a set of battles featuring Weavile in the Ultra League. Now Weavile is extremely glassy, but man it hits like a truck. So for this team comp, we're going to be pairing it up with Charizard and Cresselia because Charizard basically provides protection against all of Weavile's weaknesses except for its rock type weakness, and then Cresselia is just a fantastic generalist which pairs well along with any team composition. So again, a very exciting set of battles, and let's just get straight into it. Okay, moving on to the first battle right here. I'm going to be leading with Charizard and then having Weavile and Cresselia in the back. It's a pretty similar team comp to the Obstagoon Cresselia Charizard line, but switching it up with Charizard on the lead this time. They met with an Armored Mewtwo, so I'm immediately going to switch it to Cresselia. The reason is that we have two solid counters to Armored Mewtwo. Cresselia is going to completely wall it, while Weavile is going to do super effective damage. Now Cresselia is a fantastic matchup against Armored Mewtwo because those confusions and side strikes are resisted, but Rock Slide coming through, that's going to do neutral, but it's fine, it doesn't really do that much. But just going to throw the Moonblast right here. It's going to do some nice neutral damage to Armored Mewtwo. They're still staying in this matchup, which means they probably don't have a Cresselia counter. Now they're going to bring in Granbull right here, and I'm going to go straight for the Moonblast. This is going to do some heavy neutral damage to Granbull. Now Granbull is extremely glassy compared to Togekiss and Clefable. But we get the shield. This is perfect. So I'm going to try and get to this next Moonblast right here. But they're going to get off a charge move, which is fine. I'm going to let it go through at this point because I can just come back in with Charizard as we get a phone call right there. But just going to come in with Charizard and go straight for the Blast Burn. Now Blast Burn will do some heavy neutral damage to Granbull and probably take it out from this range. So this is good because now my Weavile can basically avoid the Granbull, right? They let it go through. So at this point, I'm trying to switch, but they're going to get off a charge move right here, which is absolutely fine. I'm going to let it go through. I'm going to save 2 shields for Weavile. That's the game plan here. Weavile with 2 shields can absolutely destroy most Pokemon, especially considering that their Charmer is out of the way now. But I'm just going to overfarm and then build up to 2 foul plays and then try and go back to back. I'm going to shield this up because Rock Slide would do super effective damage against Weavile. Now, just going to build up to 2 foul plays, and they have a Giratina in the back. This is where Weavile comes in super clutch. Weavile is basically just going to go to town on this Giratina here. First foul play coming through, they let it go through. That does like 60% of Weavile's health. Gonna go for the second foul play here. This should definitely take out the Giratina if it goes unshielded. I mean, Weavile just basically instantly just deleted the Giratina there. That was just insane. So at this point, again, I'm just going to build up to 2 foul plays. There's nothing this Armored Mewtwo can do right now. I can just shield this Rock Slide. They're not going to be able to get to another charge move. Those confusions are double resisted, which allows me to farm up on quite a bit of energy. So just gonna go for the first foul play. They should get the shield, but yeah, gets the shield right here, and the next foul play should definitely take out the Armored Mewtwo. So as you can see, Weavile basically just destroyed both Armored Mewtwo and Giratina towards endgame there. That's just how dangerous it can be when you have 2 shields for it. It was just insane, and the fact that their Charmer was out of the way, I think allowed Weavile to have a clear path to victory towards endgame, and that was crucial as well. So anyways, moving into the second battle here, and let's see now. We have Charizard into Heatran. Pretty positive matchup actually, because both Cresselia and Weavile would struggle against Heatran. So it's good that we're catching it on the lead. Charizard has a pretty positive matchup against it because we're dealing neutral damage to Heatran because of the Steel Fire typing. And also it's well below its full stat potential, which is why it's fairly glassy as far as Ultra League is concerned. I shield the first one just to make sure it's not a Stone Edge. Iron Head would be resisted. I'm just going to go straight for the Blast Burn here because it would take it out from this range if it goes unshielded. We get the first shield, which is absolutely fine. And they're going to get off another charge move right here. This is probably just going to be an Iron Head because it's going to be an Iron Head. It's going to be resisted. So I'm going to be able to get to the next Blast Burn here. This should definitely take out the Heatran if it goes unshielded. Let's see if they want to go down 2 shields at this point. They decide to give up the second shield. This is absolutely fine by me. I'm going to try and do as much damage as I can. And I'm not going to shield this because I want to save at least 1 shield for Weavile because Weavile is extremely glassy that you want to save at least 1 shield for it towards endgame. I'm going to come in with Cresselia. Now Cresselia doesn't have a great matchup against Heatran, but because Cresselia is so bulky, I'm just going to commit to the complete Psycho Cut down here. We're going to have to eat a charge move, Iron Head coming through. It's going to do some nice neutral damage to Cresselia, but it's fine. It's not really going to do too much. Actually, it's a flamethrower. That is absolutely fine as well. Right now, I can just, but they make a switch into Obstagoon. This is perfect because we have the energy advantage. I'm going to be able to get off 2 Moonblasts before they're able to get to two Night Slashes. So I'm almost at a second Moonblast. They're going to get off Charge Move right here. This is absolutely fine. They're debuffed as well at this point because of the Moonblast. And just going to throw the next Moonblast right here. This is definitely going to, take out Obstagoon. It's good that they brought the Obstagoon out here as well because Weavile would struggle against that because of the counter would do double super effective damage. And they have a Venusaur in the back. This is perfect. Again, that's another aspect about Weavile is that it can handle grass types as well because Avalanche is just such a hard-hitting move which can pretty much one-shot any grass type, right? So I can just shield up the Frenzy Plant and just actually ends up being a Sludge Bomb, but I'm just going to throw the Avalanche immediately. The reason I overfarmed is I probably thought they would sack their Heatran, but as you can see, just one-shots the Venusaur right there and Heatran goes down to Snarl. Incredible. I think that's the thing with Weavile, especially with Snarl. You're going to be able to generate energy so quickly, and Avalanche and Foul Play, both of them are heavy hitting moves, especially also having Stab coming from a Weavile because of its Ice Dark typing. Both of them have Stab, and man, it just hits like a truck. It's just so good. So moving into the third battle, we're met with an Empoleon. This is not a good matchup for this team comp entirely because all three of these Pokemon are going to struggle against Empoleon in one way or another. They make a switch into Typhlosion. Now, this is not a great matchup for Cresselia at all because Moonblast is resisted while those Shadow Claws are doing super effective damage. But let's see now, we get the attack debuff. That's a positive situation. So that's actually good. So they are overfarming quite a bit and they're going to get off a Blast Burn right here. Now, even though this is debuffed, it's still going to do quite a bit of damage because Blast Burn is such a hard-hitting move. It gets this Cresselia very low, so I'm just going to throw the next Moonblast right here. This is again going to be resisted. Definitely not going to take out the Typhlosion, but they decide to give up a shield, which is absolutely fine. So at this point, they are overfarming quite a bit here. They probably have 2 Blast Burns. That was very good counting on their part. They threw the Blast Burn just as I was about to get to a Moonblast. First Blast Burn coming through. I'm going to obviously have to bring in Charizard. Can't really bring in Weavile here. But Blast Burn coming through, it's going to do some heavy resisted damage to Charizard. It's going to do almost 50% of Charizard's health. I mean, maybe a little lesser. But just going to throw the Dragon Claw immediately here and try and get rid of this Typhlosion as quickly as possible before they're able to get to another charge move. And they're going to come back in with Empoleon. So I'm going to immediately have to switch to Weavile. Now, Weavile doesn't have a great matchup against Empoleon, but these Foul Plays would still do some heavy neutral damage against it, right? Those waterfalls are really adding up, as you can see. I'm going to have to shield this up, obviously. So I'm just going to build up to 2 Foul Plays and don't go back to back. They bring in Togekiss. So I'm just going to have to go straight for the Avalanche here. Just have a look at how much Avalanche does to a Togekiss, right? Just boom. That almost takes it out, but the annoying part is it doesn't quite one-shot it, unfortunately, and we waste so much energy right there. And that ends up costing the game because if I'd gotten the Foul Play on Empoleon or gotten a shield, then I could have gone straight for the Blast Burn with Charizard and taken it out, but they still have a shield, right? It's a very tricky matchup now. But it's going to be GG's here because they're going to be able to waterfall the Charizard down and take the win. We went down with the shield, so that was definitely a little bit of a misplay from my part. Should have gone straight for the Foul Play onto Empoleon before they had switched out, which meant that my Charizard would have had an open path to fire off the Blast Burn. So anyways, moving into the 4th battle, we are met with a Cresselia. Cresselia is a pretty decent matchup for Charizard because a lot of Cresselias tend to run Moonblast and Grass Knot, both of which would be resisted. I'm trying to get to this Blast Burn right here, but they're able to get to a charge move first. This is probably just going to be a Moonblast. I'm really hoping to not get the attack debuff, but unfortunately we get the debuff. I was really trying to get the Blast Burn off before getting debuff, but they're able to get to a charge move first, which is absolutely fine. But it's still going to do quite a bit of damage to Cresselia. So at this point, I'm just going to try and build up to a Blast Burn and try and switch out. That's my plan here. Going to soak up the charge moves. This is going to be a Moonblast. It's going to be resisted. Not going to take out the Charizard. But I'm just going to build up all the way to a Moonblast and then switch into my Cresselia. All the way to a Blast Burn, I should say, and then switch into Cresselia. Now, Charizard with loaded energy can be extremely dangerous. They make a switch into Swampert. This is perfect. So this Cresselia is a pretty positive matchup against Swampert. We get the shield because of the Grass Knot threat. Even though we don't have Grass Knot, we're running only 1 charge move on Cresselia right now. At this point, I think we've unlocked Grass Knot as well. But at the time of these battles, only Moonblast. But even with only Moonblast, Cresselia is a very positive matchup against Swampert. But they are going to be able to spam us with Hydro Cannons here. It's going to take 2 more Hydro Cannons to finish off Cresselia, but going to throw another Moonblast. It's going to do some nice neutral damage to Swampert and gets it up to about 50% health. But now they're going to get off another charge move here, but they are over farming quite a bit, which means that I'm going to be able to get to this Moonblast first, which is huge. Now this is definitely going to pressure the shield from Swampert because they don't want all that energy to go waste. And we get the attack debuff as well and lag a little bit. They make a switch into their own Cresselia and throw the charge move, which is absolutely fine. I'm just going to let it go through because it's not going to take us out, and I'm going to be able to come back in with Weavile. Now Weavile does great against Cresselia as well. It's another meta Pokemon that Weavile has a great matchup against. So I'm gonna shield this up because Moonblast would do super effective damage, really hoping to not get the attack debuff. We don't, this is positive. So I'm just gonna build up to 2 foul plays here and then go back to back. So first foul play coming through, it's gonna do super effective damage against Cresselia and take it out from this range if it goes unshielded. Definitely takes it out. And no, they don't have any more shields. So they're going to come back in with they're going to come in with Articuno. Now look at how much damage Weavile can do, right? Avalanche is going to do heavy neutral damage to Articuno because of the ice flying typing, does about 50% of its health. Now it's a race to the charge move. And because of Snarl, Weavile is able to get to the second Avalanche here, and they're not even able to get to a charge move. This Avalanche should definitely one-hit KO, or probably take it out from this range, I should say. And Swampert comes in, and there's not a lot they can do here. So they're going to throw the Hydro Cannon here, going to shield this up, and we still have a lot of loaded energy on Charizard. So I'm just going to switch into Charizard and get off the Blast Burn here right away. Probably didn't need to do that, but just wanted to flex a little bit. And also it's a pretty dominant way to finish the game. It's always satisfying when you seal the deal with Charizard. I mean, when you sort of eliminate a Swampert with Charizard. As you can see, we won with 3 Pokemon left. So it doesn't happen too often, but it's always very satisfying when you do that. But anyways, moving into the 5th battle, we are 3-1 in this set right now. And let's see what we have here. Like you can see, I mean, Charizard and Weavile, they form such a solid combination, right? Because those two they have such synergy between them. Anyways, we met with the Venusaur here. And this is a very positive matchup for Charizard. Also, it's a Razor Leaf Venusaur. And they're not switching out of this matchup, which really tells me they probably have something in the back which is also weak to Charizard. So I'm just going to go straight for the Blast Burn here. Because if it's a Razor Leaf Venusaur, it's going to take them forever to get to a charge move. And they let it go through, which clearly tells that they probably have something in the back which is weak to Charizard as well. Which is why I switch immediately into Cresselia against this Ampharos, which it's a pretty interesting Pokemon to use in Ultra League. So just going to throw the Moonblast right away here. It's going to do some heavy neutral damage to Ampharos because Ampharos is fairly glassy. We get the first shield. This is perfect. I'm not going to shield this because Cresselia is tanky and can basically tank anything. It's just going to be a Thunder Punch here. Doesn't really do that much at all. So just going to throw, trying to build up another Moonblast and hopefully get it off. But unfortunately, they're able to get to a charge move first. I'm expecting another Thunder Punch, but ends up being a Zap Cannon. Look at how much damage that does to a Cresselia, right? That does about 60% of Cresselia's health at neutral damage. Now, that takes something. To do that much damage to Cresselia, that's not bad at all. But luckily, we're able to get to another Moonblast. Cresselia goes down. This is fine because I'm going to be able to come back in with Weavile, or come in with Weavile, I should say. Weavile is a pretty neutral matchup. They make a switch into Togekiss. I'm going to come in with Charizard now. This is exactly why you have Charizard in the team, basically to provide protection to Weavile against these Charmers. And I'm going to just throw the Blast Burn right away here. It's going to do some heavy neutral damage and almost take this Togekiss out. And I can just commit to the Fire Spin Farm Down at this point. And we're looking great. Now, Weavile still has 2 shields left. Ampharos is going to come back in. But Weavile is almost at an Avalanche right here. And then Avalanche is going to come through doing heavy neutral damage to this Ampharos and probably take it out from this range. Yeah, just look at the amount of destruction. I mean, that is just Weavile. It just hits like a truck. So that is just a 4-1 set. As you can see, just Weavile is so good. Weavile and Charizard combined together, such an awesome combination. Really is. Yeah, as you guys can see, Charizard and Weavile really join forces to basically destroy a lot of the Pokemon that you're commonly going to see. Again, Weavile with 2 shields towards endgame can basically destroy a lot of things as well. So yeah, pretty solid team comp. It's not, Weavile is definitely not a Pokemon that I would recommend using if you want to climb up battle rating points on a consistent basis, because it's definitely not a consistent performer. There are certain specific situations like this one where it can perform really well, but there are certain other situations where it can be a liability as well. So anyways, and also this whole team is going to struggle against something like Aggron, which can pretty much destroy this whole team single-handedly. But that's something you're going to have to watch out for. But it's not too common, so I think it can still work pretty decently as well. So yeah, this is actually a set of battles that I did for my dad. Occasionally I do some for him, and I just, this was really exciting, which is why I decided to showcase in this channel. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one.